Well, just when you thought it was safe to go home a series winner, the Astros stubbed their toe against the Rays in Yankee Stadium Light. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Astros411 on X and on Facebook, and Back to the Bullpen on YouTube and iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, where I'm always positive, always Astros.
And we have been doing podcasts for a combined 15 years. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine on YouTube, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. And today's episode is brought to you by home runs, errors, and Esoc Parades crushing the ball. Unfortunately, it's also sponsored by some bad news with Ronel Blanco. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Hunter Brown, he's been there for the Houston Astros all year. It's hard to find too much fault with him. But in this game, he wasn't the same guy. He didn't feel that like his breaking pitches were right. He didn't feel like he had the same type of command. He allowed 3 home runs, which is something he has not done a lot this year. But I know it's a smaller ballpark, but both sides are playing in the same ballpark. But he allowed 3 home runs, 5 runs in the 5 innings.
Yeah, part of this is the element of the ballpark they're in. Now, if you look at the game, the Astros had 3 home runs, the Rays had 4 home runs total. The ball was flying out of the ballpark today. And this is the day where Hunter Brown couldn't afford to be off his game. Now, he has been next to perfect all season long, Eric. He has really done well. I'm not concerned about the home runs he allowed in this stadium. I think a couple of these probably wouldn't have been home runs in Daikin Park. Game 2, if you talk about home runs, Chas McCormick and Jose Altuve, those home runs would have been out of the park at home. So Hunter Brown was a victim of the elements. I think that played a part. I think being outside, the humidity of Florida, I think also plays a part. Gripping that baseball is not fun because we don't have substances anymore to help the pitchers grip the baseball. And so when something is off, it's
spider tack.
Yeah, no, not spider tack, but even Mike Stanton used a mixture of rosin and pine tar. It was perfectly legal. But when they decided to go pure, like, no, you can't do anything, then that's when you started getting all these other issues. But Hunter Brown will come back from this. Hunter Brown will, I think he will step up in a big way in his next start. Now, what I don't like is that they moved him so that he was moved out of being able to pitch against the Rays. I really wish he would have been able to, because he would have pitched game 4 against the Rays had he gone the day before when he was regularly scheduled when Brandon Walter went. So he would have pitched against Seattle, but he is now out of that running to pitch for Seattle because of where they put him. And say what you want about saving him for the season, or maybe it was a strategic move against Seattle, but I really wish we would have had him for Seattle.
Well, you have these starting pitchers dropping like flies. It's hard to keep a rotation intact. They're basically have gorilla tape right now on the rotation. You've got another arm going down, the Ronel Blanco, and you have guys coming up and down. So it's Joe Espada is doing the best he can to put this rotation together. So he doesn't really have the option to pick or choose. You're having to put Gusto back and forth.
But Hunter Brown was supposed to pitch the day that Brandon Walter pitched, and he moved him up. Because he moved him out of that slot, you take him out of a Mariners matchup, which is very, very important, I think, at this point in the season. That's why I say I didn't like that move. I mean, Walter was great. There's nothing against Walter, but he could have pitched today. Walter could have pitched today. Hunter Brown could have pitched the day before. So it is what it is. It's water under the bridge. It's always 2020 looking back, right? You can always armchair quarterback to death a game, but this isn't the Hunter Brown that I think is top 3 in Cy Young voting, and every one of these starters that's tops of their game, they're going to have a falter here or there because it's impossible to be perfect.
Right. And if you look at this, Colton Gordon in the opening game of this series, he was a left-hander. He pitched really good against the Rays. So what I think Joe Espada did was playing the matchups. He's like, the Rays struggle against left-handed pitching, and so they struggled for the most part.
And that makes sense. Right. And that aspect of it makes sense. So, yes, I mean, this is definitely more than just a singular Hunter Brown issue. But I'm just saying now that it's happened, right? You're like going, I wish it would have been a little different. But that's easy to say now.
Also, this adds Hunter Brown is still a young pitcher. This actually pushes his start back a little bit and allows him a little bit extra day of rest. Really? So I think that's what was on Joe Espada's mind. So I don't think it was about I know what you're thinking of, but I don't think this was about him skipping the Mariner series. But I think this was just about what's best for right now, because at that time, Ronel Blanco, I know that we'll talk about that later, but the issue might have been present there, but I think that with everything that's gone on this year, why push Hunter Brown? Hunter Brown has been the ace all year. He's been the guy that you can rely on. And so why push? And why you have a team that struggled against the left-hander, let's just go and do it. But this is actually a great discussion about why you push back Brown in favor of a guy that hasn't pitched since 2023 in the big leagues.
And I really thought coming into this with Hunter Brown being opposed by Taj Bradley, I thought Bradley was going to be susceptible to the Astros really pouring it on. And early on, you saw the 2 runs, but it wasn't anything like, we really took it to Bradley. But I thought, okay, so you got Hunter Brown, the ace, going against Taj Bradley, who I think is probably an above average major league pitcher, but he's definitely hittable. And it didn't work out in the Astros' favor today.
Yeah, and so Hunter Brown had the Rays whiffed on 6 of the 42 swings they had against him. And the average exit velocity was 82.7 on 18 balls in play. So 91 pitches, 52 strikes, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 3 home runs. One of the home runs I do want to talk about was Brandon Lowe's home run. I know that I believe this was the one that was going to right field, and you had Cam Smith go out there. He tried to make a catch, but he thought he was going to catch it, but he ran out of room there. But this had an expected batting average of .010. So this was not supposed to get out of there, and it only traveled 320 feet.
Right. It did travel 320 feet, but as I watched the replay, it was way out of his reach, Eric. It was like, yes, I just watched it. Basically, Cam Smith would have to be about 7'9" to have a chance to catch that ball. Go watch it. Now, the distance and where the fence is I think why you have that probability, right?
Right.
That thing was way above his head. There's nobody catching that ball. Aaron Judge, as tall as he is catching that ball. But that's what happens when you have a stadium that's mimicked after Yankee Stadium, and that right field is as much as we get crap for the Crawford boxes, the right field in Yankee Stadium is just as friendly.
That home run would have been a home run in 1 out of 30 ballparks. And the one ballpark would have been that one. No, not even Yankee Stadium.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Wow. So that is a short fence. God dang it. We should have the Astros, because I'm not on the team, the Astros should have swept this series. In that second game, if that ball from Chas McCormick and Jose Altuve get out of the park, Astros win that game. This game, anyways, such a winnable series, and it's thanks to watch it go by, because now you've got 4 against the division leader. Thankfully, the Yankees are beating up on the Rangers, but the Mariners had the soft Chicago White Sox to handle, and they handled them pretty easily.
Yeah. And so 29 pitches in the first inning for Hunter
That's a
Brown.
lot.
It just kind of put him in behind. He didn't have it, but you have to love Devon. He said, that's baseball, man. He's still a dog. He's still our guy and everything. And Joe Spada had nothing but good things to say about him. It just wasn't his day. So what you got to do as a young pitcher like he is, you just got to put it behind you and know that the next start, you got to go out there and do better. His ERA is still 0.204 on this. No, I said it right. 2.04 on the season. So guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
I want to make sure y'all know that this episode is brought to you by Supply House. Why? Because Supply House is there for all your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical needs. Use the code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Look, coming from a house where I grew up in the house of an electrician, it is quite simple to know that what a contractor needs is a helper, someone who can get them the parts they need without the difficulty. And they do just that. A complete inventory of 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands. You'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with the order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. You'll always talk to a real person. That's big to contractors. Their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. That's huge. Free shipping, even bigger, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage now. It's your turn. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Sometimes you pitch a terrible ball game and you can say, next game, I'll be right back out there. Sometimes you pitch a great ball game or semi-good game and you get sent down in favor of Forrest Whitley. That's what Brandon Walters happened, but you kind of knew that was going to be a spot start. But Forrest Whitley came back today, so welcome back. Unfortunately, he got greeted by a home run ball, and unfortunately, there's a lot of home run balls by the Rays today, 4. But the Astros did have some offense going for them as well. Welcome back to Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. And thank you for making us your first listen every day. So, Brett, I know that you can look at this and say, yes, you lost 2 games against the Rays in a minor league ballpark, in a spring training ballpark. But both teams played at the same ballpark. And you would think that the offense would have scored a little more, especially with the way I don't know if it's because of maybe it was during the day or the ball seemed to be carrying a really far. I know that I think Dubon or it was somebody said that it was just really carrying, but you would think that there would have been more offense out there. But Dubon had a home run, and then Esoc Parades, man, this guy has had it seems like 10 home runs in the past 5 days or something crazy like that.
Well, he's got 10 home runs season, but yeah, you're right. He is just, he's really barreling the ball up. So let's look at this. He has 2 home runs today. He had 1 home run the game before. 2 games before that, he had 1. You go back to the Royals series, he had a home run in back-to-back games. So he's hit 6 home runs in May where he only hit 4 in April. So that is huge. He didn't have any in March. Obviously, that was only 3 games. But Esoc Parades has really become, Eric, one of the offensive prowesses of this team. And if you can imagine what it would be like, how much more grand it would be if Christian Walker was also hitting, because it's frustrating watching Esoc Parades go off and know that Christian Walker is an absolute zombie at the plate. I mean, these guys couldn't be any more opposite. Esoc's glove is killing it. Esoc's bat is killing it. I mean, he's leading this team offensively, 10 home runs. I mean, that's supposed to be Jordan's job. That's supposed to be Yainer Diaz. Remember, he was hitting home runs last year. But these guys got to follow suit. Esoc cannot win these games on his own.
Yeah. And I know that you corrected me, but it was, I got it backwards. It was 6 homers in the last 9 or 10 games, something like that. But yeah, it's crazy just how good this guy has been. And he's doing it away from Dyken Park. I know it may be a shorter left field than most ballparks, but He is getting offense going to that's 3 road home runs when he didn't have any before this series. So that if you're looking at one positive note from this series that you said the Astros could have swept, that's the one positive note, is that Esoc Parades is not just hitting at home, but he's hitting on road, and he's got he's the first to double digits in home runs. And so he's getting the job done when the rest of the offense is kind of having hot or cold days. Dubon, that was a surprising power outburst. I didn't expect to see that today. That wasn't on my bingo card.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he played the wind. That ball squeaked out of the park. It's okay. A home run is a home run. But, Eric, we're talking about home runs and we're talking about what happened offensively. And, why is it important? Because right now, the discussion in the Astros community is people are using the word expendable, and they are putting Dubon, McCormick, and Rogers, all 3 in that category. There are a lot of people who say, okay, if you have 3 of these guys, Dubon's the least expendable, but the other 2 guys, what are they doing here? And so Dubon needs to legitimize his place on this team, not just with his utility glove. We know he's a gold glover, but he's got to start hitting more. There's got to be more pieces to this puzzle than Esoc Parades. But, hey, it's welcomed. I mean, if he has a career year, I am all for it.
And you notice that Jose Altuve has played very little left field in the past 3 to 4 days. I don't know if this is by design, but he played back-to-back games at second base, and he also played DH today. This is maybe getting the opportunity to see other people in the outfield. Dubon responded with 2 hits today, including a walk. And so he's still not the guy that you're supposed to be counting on in left field, but the Astros just don't have their full lineup right now. When Jake Myers is your best hitter, batting 306 with 800 OPS, then you have Paredes, who's been dominating for the past week and a half or so. And then Pena has been really hitting well since he moved to the leadoff spot. But the rest of the team, you have Diaz that gets hot for a little bit, and then he cools off. Then you have Christian Walker, who maybe for a week was hot, and then he cooled off. But the problem is with, you brought up Brady Rogers. Let's say the Astros DFA him, and then they go ahead and bring up Shea Whitcomb, which is what I saw a lot of people saying. Let's just bring up Shea Whitcomb. I'm not opposed to that, but how many different rookies are you going to have on this roster?
Well,
Cam Smith is still, he shows some signs, but are you going to have a whole bunch of people? This offense is already struggling.
Look, it's not just that. Now, if you're bringing up Whitcomb for his offense, here's his line, Eric. It's actually pretty impressive. 253, 43 hits, 13 doubles, 13 home runs, 28 RBI, 340 on-base percentage, 899 OPS. Now, where has he played, though? He's not going to play second base. He's only played 1 game at second. I think he's slotted in there tonight. He's played 11 games at first, 7 games at third, 3 games at short, 9 in left, 11 in right, and only 2 DH. So Shea Whitcomb's bat would definitely be welcomed if he can bring that heat that he's bringing to AAA Sugarland to here, to Dyken Park. But the question is, where do you put him? I think Brendan Rodgers, to me, is the most expendable. And yes, I think Dubon is the guy that they hold on to because he's been here. He's kind of got seniority. And I'm sorry, I think Chas McCormick's days are numbered. If I'm being quite honest.
He keeps on shaving everything. He's like trying to get into some type of streak. So he shaves his beard, then he only has a mustache, and he shaves his mustache. And so now it's just down
to work on his swing, not his facial hair.
So I think it's just somebody just searching for answers at this point. And I think there are other options like down at AAA that maybe deserve a chance. But the Astros offense is missing Alvarez, and nothing's really changed. He's still taking batting practice in cages. No big updates with him, but the Astros are where we are. And so the question is, Brett, as we go into our next break, the Astros are now 25-24 after being 3 games above 500.
Right.
Now they're back to 1 game above 500. Are they just going to be a 500 team all year, or do you see this team going on a big streak. And we'll talk about a injury that could be a big factor in this on the Locked On Astros podcast. Hey guys, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. So Brett, before they break, I was talking about, are the Astros a 500 team? Before we kind of talk about that, we do need to talk about I would say it's breaking news, because his last start, he looked pretty good. Ronel Blanco was out there, and I believe it was 6 innings, but from what I remember. But apparently today it was announced by Joe Espada that Ronel Blanco is going back to Houston to get his elbow looked at. He has elbow discomfort. That is very freaking discomforting. Why do we have to keep on having this issue? I mean, you have one of the big 3 guys finally turn his season around, and then all of a sudden, just wait a minute.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a league-wide issue. It's an epidemic in Major League Baseball. It is a multifaceted and a very long discussion to have if you want to really break everything down. You take away substances, you concentrate on velocity, you put a premium on spin rate, velo, no substances. The arm is doing an unnatural motion. You have guys that are tearing stuff up in their elbow because you have to grip the ball differently and harder, and you have that flexes and causes different things in your elbow. When you have a baseball that does not have anything on it, and you've got to push and pull where you used to have something where you could just slide that ball through the zone, but now you have to actually put pressure. You see the difference in my fingers, how they're going white, pressing into the ball. Now, when I do that, that puts tension right here on your elbow, and that's where all these injuries are coming from. So Ronel Blanco is just right now, he's kind of a victim of where the game has gone. This is definitely a problem. Look, I just looked it up in the last several years. The Mets actually have the most TJ surgeries. I think like 14. Actually, the last 2 or 3 seasons, and the Astros have 4. But this is league wide. There's only one team that has none, and I can't remember which team it is. But every team's dealing with this, and this just compounds the issue of all the other guys being on the shelf that you're waiting to come back. I don't anticipate JP France to be back at all this year. I do see Christian Javier coming back. Lance McCullers has been successful in his return to the mound, and you hope that he continues to be pain-free. But the thing is, at what point does Major League Baseball look at the root cause of all this and say, you know what? The pitch clock didn't help. That's not the problem. The not spider tack, but allowing guys to grip the baseball was not the problem. The problem is that this is like a ceramic baseball. When you compare this to this is an NCAA Division I baseball used in an LSU game versus Maryland. Look at this. Look at the seams on that. Look how pronounced they are compared to the Major League Baseball. There's a big difference, okay? You see that? Then you see you can hardly see the seams because they're flush with the leather. This right here is pronounced. You can actually see the red raised off the ball. Anyway, sorry to take y'all to the lab, but spin rate, velocity, nothing to grip the ball. You're outside in the humidity sometimes. I mean, there's so many problems with baseball. It's a problem that's not going away anytime soon. And until they stop putting a premium on spin rate, until they stop putting a premium on velo, I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Well, Joe Espada did say we're waiting to hear what the extent of the injury is, but obviously we'll be skipping him this time around. So last time he pitched 6 innings, allowing 3 runs against the Rangers. His ERA was 4.10 on the season. So it's labeled as elbow soreness. And Espada said that's always concerned. And he feels like Ronel Blanco did the right thing. He reported the soreness, and then he flew back to Houston to get looked at on Tuesday. And they're just going to go ahead and look at the reports and decide what's going to happen from there. But JP France and Christian Javier have both thrown off the mound, but they're still early in their comeback. You have Luis Garcia, who is throwing off flat ground, but he's not any close to coming back.
Right.
Spencer Getty has not even started throwing. So you just have a situation where
let's stop on Arrighetti, because what a freak accident.
Yeah.
Like of all things, I'm just so like, that to me is the most infuriating thing. Just like, why us? Why this year? Like, this is not the year to have some rando baseball hit the freaking thumb of a pitcher and break it. Now, nobody did it. It wasn't malicious. No one's like, oh, I'm aiming for his thumb, you know? But it's insane. And that's why I think it's so important, Eric, that we talk about why is this happening more and more, because you do have things like that. I mean, you remember, what was it, 2 years ago, Rhys Hoskins tore his ACL trying to get a ground ball in spring training. It was a non-contact injury. And the reason why I say that is injuries like that happen, freak things happen. So when you have this almost as a routine and you have pitchers falling and dropping like flies, it really makes it hard to field a baseball team.
Yeah, so Colton Gordon is eligible to come back if they decide to put Blanco on the IL. You can also bring back Walters. So it just depends on which one the Astros are more comfortable with. We already know that Gusto is going to come back to the rotation. The Astros are very thin. Luckily, the 17-game stretch of no days off is coming to an end on Sunday. There will be off day on Monday. So the Astros do have a little bit of a reprieve there. But the Astros are going to face a very tough opponent. And the Mariners, their hitting may not be up to par with the rest of the league, but their pitching has been on fire recently. And they're even though they have some injuries, they are going to be getting somebody back, George Kirby. And it's actually going to be a game, George Kirby versus Lance McCullers. It's going to be a reminder of the 2022 ALDS, where you and I were both at Hooters and we were watching. That was an 18-inning game.
I remember that. So, Eric, you had asked me earlier if I think the Houston Astros are a 500 team. I think as it sits right now, they absolutely are a 500 team. They haven't proven otherwise. But would you rather them be a 500 team or a 10 games under 500 team? I mean, you pick your poison. What does it mean for the Astros in the playoffs? I don't know. Are they going to even be able to compete in the playoffs? I would think they would. When you get to the playoffs, you've got to be healthy and you've got to be hot. The Braves did that in 19 against us. The Nationals did that in 21 against us. So it can be done. It's not impossible. So for all the fair weather Houston fans that are jumping off the ship like y'all did last year, because this is what y'all did. You jumped off the ship, and then when they got hot, you're like, I'm the biggest fan in the world. Look, just stick with the team, okay? The reason why you and I and these people watching are not in the pros is because we couldn't handle that. It takes a special person. That's a 1% kind of thing. I think this team's going to figure out a way to start winning, but eventually you're going to run out of time to do that. But until they change what they're doing, they will be a 500 club. Because look at this. They've got a catching problem too, Eric, and this compounds the issue. When throwing runners out, Yainer Diaz, 5 for 36. Victor Caratini, 1 for 26. But is that a pitching problem or a catching problem? I would say it's probably 50-50. Some of it's the pitcher's delivery, too slow to the – I mean, some of our guys are like taking forever. And then some of it's the catching. What's the pop time? I haven't examined their pop times. But this team's got several issues. Pitching's not one of them per se, but until they perform better in all phases of the game, this is a 500 ball club.
Yeah, the Rays were running like crazy in the series. 10 out of 11 stolen base attempts the Rays were successful in. And yes, they have some speed. They have Simpson, who's going to be a very fast base runner once he figures things out in the big leagues, hitting-wise overall. But he is definitely a threat on the bases. But the Astros just they are probably what they appear to be. They are probably a 500 team, especially with until they go out and make the Justin Verlander trade. Wait, he was just put on the IL.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Everybody's wanting Justin Verlander back. It's not going to happen for a third or fourth or 20th year in a row. Sorry, JV's days in H-Town are donezo. I mean, it's it. We mentioned earlier, Chico came in late. Alvarez, we don't know. Spencer, we have not heard anything. So, Eric, Hunter Brown, a victim of home runs in a really small ballpark. Esoc Parades, he's the offensive leader. And Ronel Blanco's elbow, let's say a prayer for it, because, man, that is a hardworking dude. That is the workhorse. And I've even given that guy a nickname. He can't go down, man.
And Taylor Scott was cleared waivers, and he was granted free agency. So
I saw that.
Props to becoming an American citizen. Also, thank you for everything you did for Houston Astros last year. So hopefully he gets to find a job. Yes.
The Mariners are bringing a new player to Dyken Park with them, a former Ranger, Leota Taveras, who hit his first home run today as a Mariner. And that's a left-handed bat. Someone asked me, I don't know if it was you, someone asked me, should we have gotten Leota Taveras? I'm like, I don't know. And he already hit a home run. So George Kirby did say
he's not a home run hitter.
Well, he hit a home run for them. But George Kirby did say today, I like the atmosphere here. It's just fun. It's a fun challenge every time we come here, or when they come to Seattle, we love it. So the Mariners and the Astros are both charged up for this. This is a good rivalry. Should be some solid baseball this weekend. And Saturday, we got the Locked On Astros group night. See y'all there. We're going to meet at the center field gate or the center field or left field gate. I'll let you know on YouTube come Friday.
All right, guys, thank you for making us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. We will see you tomorrow, and hopefully the Astros get a victory.
Go Stros. Almost.